I'm gonna wait just a little bit to do the intro, because Twitch VODs have been a little weird where I don't actually get to say it, because I like say it as soon as it says that I'm live, but clearly it lied to me if the VOD doesn't have it. I mean, I don't even know if this is making it through live. I mean, I think by now, yeah, probably. So, welcome to the Cosmic Neko channel, or welcome back if you've already been around here. But if by any chance that you're new, yeah, you're here as well. So, before we get started, I guess I would probably like to wait for people to show up. I'll give it till like 5 minutes in, and if no one shows up till by 5 minutes in, well, I mean, I got things to talk about, of course. I never do a just chatting stream if I like have no idea what I'm gonna do for it, because this is the type of stream that's completely dependent on me and a little bit of chat, but like there's no game or activity in the background with me or for me to just like rely on. Like sometimes I could just lean on a game to kind of keep people entertained while I don't have anything to say, but in a just chatting stream, there kind of needs to be chatting. So, you know, guess I'll wait 5 minutes, see if any chatters show up. Okay, we got sound alerts. Seems like your sound alerts browser. Oh, right, sound alerts. I forgot I added those, because the suggestion box I had actually become disabled. Yeah, I don't know exactly when, but my suggestion box, which I kind of liked, really wasn't used very often, but I thought it was nice to have around. Yeah, stopped working on me. So I'm gonna open up the sound alerts thing so that it can actually be used. You know, that would help. Let me just copy that and put it in there. In there now. Now it should work. Currently, you have to pay bits, even though I have set up like all of the channel point ones. Like I said that it should, I told it to allow channel points to be used on some, and the ones that I told it to use channel points for aren't even here on the selection. Then I can't show you because it's on my, well, I don't want to show you because it's on my main screen, and I never know what kind of information people can nab and use against me. But yeah, I got my source, and I got my jazz. Apparently, it's called Jazz Riders. It's a royalty-free song that I'm currently using as a background. Anyway, it's almost 5 minutes, so I may just want to start talking about what I want to talk about. Oh, did I send the stream announcement in the Discord? I'll have to start telling people to send suggestions into my Discord. I probably need to make another channel for suggestions, now that the one that was on Twitch right in my about page no longer works, like the entire extension is gone. It's kind of weird. But you know, at least we got some nice lo-fi jazz to enjoy. Going into 6 minutes. That actually went by fairly quickly. I mean, if no one's here, I don't necessarily feel very obligated to start entertaining. Oh, you know what? I forgot to That's a mistake. Why do I do that? There we go. Sorry. I usually include a link that goes directly to my channel in the message that I send to announce that I'm streaming, and I did not do that. Maybe I could make this entire stream about how frustrated I am with myself and my ability to make mistakes. Yes, I know they're necessary, but gosh, you'd think after making that mistake like 3 or 4 times, you know, you'd kind of learn. I mean, I should. I mean, a lot of the ways I learn are from failure. You learn from failure. But see, I'm not learning. I'm still forgetting to do things. Even though I forgot a lot. That doesn't mean I hate myself, though. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? That ringing? It looks like maybe. It's not nearly as pronounced as my voice, though, so I don't think I should worry about that interrupting. It's the house phone. I'm not sure how many people actually still have house phones. Ones that are connected to the wire, the landline, I think, is what it's called. I think most people just set their house phone to be their, you know, own phone. I think we just have it because it's been around for a while. My parents are from a time when those were actually useful, because, you know, if someone wanted to contact you but you didn't want to give them your personal information, your personal phone number, you could give them their house number, and then you could just get back to them whenever, and they would never annoy you while you were out or whatever. But nowadays, I think most people just give out their main number to everyone, the bank and whatnot, so that home phone really doesn't have much use. Yeah, but it's been about 10 minutes, so there's been ample time for anyone to show up, and no one has so far, which is fine. Yes, it would be nicer if people showed up. you know, it would bring up my average and maybe help entice new people to come and join my streams, and it would kind of like, you know, the more you get, the easier it is to get more. And it kind of like keeps going, and you kind of like keep growing until there's like a certain point to where like most of the people who would watch you know about you and are already watching you. And then from there, you just kind of have to make do with what you got. Cause everyone, as far as I know, stagnates eventually. Like even Disney's probably grabbed all the Disney fans it can by now. I mean, the only reason why the number of Disney fans is growing is probably because of them having the adult fans having children and making more. But as far as like a population percentage, pretty much like probably has stayed the same. I don't know if you really know what I'm talking about, but like say if 80% of the population were Disney fans back in the 90s, I think that even though Disney has gotten a lot richer, I think that like 80% of the population that were Disney fans has probably stayed around the same. Well, I guess I'm talking about the main like developed countries, because I have no idea how it is in like Russia or China, India. I know India recently, well, relatively in history standards, recently, like 10 or 20 years ago, had like started getting really good with technology and started getting like computers and servers and stuff. And so like they've been a massive boom. That's where T-Series came from. It's because T-Series is Indian and there wasn't much content on YouTube for Indian specifically. So like a business decided to start creating Indian content. And they called themselves T-Series, and with a population of like, I don't know, I know it's like a lot, like in the billion, like it's gotta be like at least a billion or like something like that. I keep hearing that it's like very, very large, and I'm gonna look it up for right now. Population of India. Yeah, about rounding up 1.4 billion.
Upgrade to premium and unlock access to ad-free
So
music.
I'm not that far
That means
off.
any playlist or radio station you want
And
without
so,
ad interruptions. With radio stations,
shut up, ad. So it's very easy for a country with a billion people that doesn't have much content to just skyrocket into a channel that had acquired like 60 million, or was it like 100 million? I don't know, wherever PewDiePie was at. And then eventually the war ended at some point, and I don't remember exactly when. I wasn't too into it. But eventually they'll have other Indian competition, and and their growth will slow down, and like it's gonna be the same for me. Okay, I'm gonna keep pushing because I know, I believe in myself, but I will hit a wall at some point, and my job is to make sure it's not anytime soon. Although, with an average of one to two viewers, yeah, I know it doesn't look too good, alright? And I don't know if it helps or hurts at all, or if it matters if I talk a lot about my channel. Because like, I kind of feel like it hurts if people were here and I was like, oh man, I need to get more viewers. Then maybe they'd be like, I don't really want to watch this guy if all he does is sulk about his viewership. When it's not really sulking, it's just like, I'm not really sad about it. It's just kind of annoying that I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I'm very open. I'm pretty chill. I'm not really mean to anyone. Not that I know of. Try and be nice and accepting. Try and make clever titles and stream consistently. But even though I have like 200 people who have followed, not, as far as I know, not one of them is here at the moment. There's one viewer, and I'm fairly certain that it's a bot, because they haven't spoken at all. And speaking helps, I think. There's a lot of these statistics that Twitch shows me, and I assume that the lower they are, the less Twitch will want to show my channel to other people. The music might be too loud, I don't know. No one can tell me. I mean, I feel like it's at a good volume for me, but I also don't want it being louder than I am. Oh. I think that's a confirmation that the music is too loud. That's probably good. Maybe. Might be too low there. I'll leave it until I get a response from this guy. You're the first one to chat. Congratulations. Well, we'll ignore the other one. It's a bot. So, well, I mean, I guess the stream title is I'm chillin', how about you? So like, how about you? You chillin'? Yeah. Well, I mean, I could just sit here and listen to my stream beats with you. But you know, it is a just chatting stream, and I think that means I need to chat. This isn't a radio. So, I mean, I'll ask you, is there anything that you would like me to talk about in particular? Or should I just do whatever I want? Because whatever it is, I'm probably willing to talk about it. No? Alright. Well, one of my main intentions today was that I was going to talk about my story. I have a story that I'm working on that I think could be a hit. I'm no like famous writer or artist or anything. I'm barely even a streamer, but it's well, it's gonna be a story about a parallel universe version of me that goes by Cosmic, which is also my streamer name, call sign, or whatever. This is the Cosmic Neko channel, but I'm Cosmic. And it's the name actually refers to my mascot more, kind of like a sports team, or like, you know, a football team or a soccer team isn't named after its best player. It's named after like an animal or something. And so this story will like add lore to my channel, where me as Cosmic will go on adventures with Cece, an abbreviation of Cosmic's cat, my cat girl, the mascot to my channel. She's right there on my Be Right Back screen. I could show better images if I opened up my files and open them up. But basically, it'll start out about me basically getting her, adopting her. And so I get up and I get all my things ready and I go and get her. And then the entire rest of the story will be about me, you know, hanging out with her and going on adventures of all sorts. Really, I want anything to go. As long as Cosmic is there, it can happen. Alright? It doesn't matter if it's medieval fantasy, if it's about, you know, mages, or if it's about intergalactic wars. I don't know, for a time it could just be it could be like a romantic comedy. I don't know, maybe in my adventures I find a really cute, or a Cosmic finds a really cute girl, and so there's an entire section dedicated to me trying to get in a relationship, or if I do get into that relationship, you know, how it would work. Like, it is abstract, and I mean that's kind of the point, because like I don't want it to be like everything else. I also don't want to deliberately make it weird and turn people away from it because they're like, oh, that's too much. Because like I know that's a problem with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if you've ever heard of it. A lot of people hate JoJo's Bizarre Adventure just because it's too weird for them. Although I find that kind of funny because sometimes these are the same people who also like Rick and Morty, and I have no idea how JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is weirder than Rick and Morty, except for it being animated by Japanese artists. Like, they're both kind of on the same weird list level, I guess in different ways, but I feel like well, duh. I mean, if you look in my about section, under the stream, if you scroll down, it it says like the things I like. Like there's like a little section about me, and one of them is like anime, obviously, because it's very obvious. But you know, I also do I watch other media, of course. I mean, Marvel movies, DC movies, you know, American cartoons. Everything's on the table. I mean, I'm not inclined to watch horror, and that's just because I find them stupid. Cause they're always trying to make you afraid of something that isn't real. They're trying to make you worry about the people in the story, but like they're all so dumb. Like, it's hard to feel bad for someone who decides to lock themselves in a basement from a killer when they could have gotten into a car and tried to drive away. Like, it feels... It feels too... What's it called? Not forced. But like... I don't know, when... They're like really trying to make things this way, but like you have a hard time believing that it's that way. I always space the terms. So if I were to ever do horror in somewhere in my story, whatever it's gonna be called, Cosmic Adventures or whatever, it'll actually be scary, because the people in it will make smart decisions and still be catching themselves almost dying or actually dying, and it'll be believable. Whatever creature or ghost decides to set its sights on these people as its prey, well, it won't just like loom in the distance, you know, just waiting for them to freak out. If it wants to kill you, it will do everything in its power to kill you. You know, there won't be...
Thanks for listening to Spotify. No, really.
I'm trying to...
You could have listened to
Artificial.
You could have
That's
spun
what it
some
is.
vinyl. You could have
Horror
played a cassette
movies
tape.
feel
You
so
could have listened to an 8-track
artificial to me.
tape, if you knew what an 8-track tape looked like.
Like, it's super
If you
obvious
listened to Spotify,
that whoever
Thanks for that.
wrote it
and you still have
wants
hundreds more
these
playlists to
certain
enjoy.
things to happen, and so he's gonna make them happen. Like, you can't engross yourself in it or immerse yourself in it, because you kind of know that, oh, well, that guy's dumb, he's gonna die, or like there's gonna be like some stupid part where a ghost just starts like twisting its head around and like has like a weird effect on it, so that it's like appearing at 3 different places at once, and it's kind of like vibrating around or whatever, and it's like, ooh, spooky, it's doing super unnatural things. But to me it's like, why is it doing that when it could just toss a knife into your head right there and then? Why does it have to be all Why does it take its time being spooky? Like, if something really wanted to kill you, it would just kill you. I mean, that's kind of my gripe with some anime and action movies, is that there's these villains that definitely could just wipe out the hero or the protagonist as soon as they meet. But they don't. They're like, you're messing with things that you don't understand, and then leave. And then later on, the other guy comes back, and the villain's like, what are you doing here? I told you not to mess with me. And then, you know, the villain should have killed him back then, because now the protagonist slash hero is actually prepared to fight the villain. And so the villain basically spelled their own demise. And it's dumb. If there was a person who like easily murdered tons of cops to grab a bunch of gold out of a bank, why would they suddenly stop killing as soon as they meet the main character? It's plot armor. And I know plot armor does have its place in media, but I want to get rid of it as much as I can. If Cosmic ever goes up against a villain stronger than him, he'll do the smart thing and just run. And I mean, he'll probably get away because he is the main character, and that's kind of but like, I can't kill him because then like the story would end there, even though he should die, I guess. But like, it'll be more believable than if, like, I don't know, if the Rhino was like crushing cars with people in them and like tossing around like light poles and like absolutely slaughtering in the streets, and then Spider-Man shows up and suddenly he pauses and goes like, Spider-Man, I've been waiting for you. Now, prepare to suffer. And no, he would just run at Spider-Man. He'd be like, this is your time to die, and start trying to beat the shit out of Spider-Man. But instead, the villains always have to pause at certain intervals and start gloating or whatever. And I guess for someone like Rhino, I guess Rhino isn't necessarily a smart villain. But other villains like Doc Ock, he's a genius. He's literally one of the smartest men in that world, creating things that other people couldn't, like his arms, and he's still dumb enough to wait for a train to hit him because he's distracted by Spider-Man or something. Like, he should be more aware, you know? I don't know, I guess maybe I'm doing too much chatting, I don't know. General McChig, do you have any thoughts on what I said? Or are you not here anymore? You haven't chatted for a while, so I'm not sure. I can't tell. I mean, if you think about it, heroes do the same thing. Heroes also sometimes meet like a villain for the first time, and instead of apprehending them then and there, they're just kind of like, hey, stop doing bad things or I'ma come get you. And then the villain's like, no, and gets away. And then the next time they meet, the villain's acquired his special weapon, making it immensely harder for the hero. Well, there will be times for dialogue. Of course, I know that there needs to be some talking, but you know, like, I just think it's kind of stupid, like, especially in anime. Anime does it worse than, like, Marvel. Like, when Doctor Strange showed up before Thanos, they kind of had, like, 2 lines each, and then Iron Man came in with a big metal structure and slammed it into Thanos. That's done right. You know, they had a little bit of interaction, kind of showed, you know, their different point of views, and then boom, into the action. And then you can still talk while fighting. If you really have something that you need to get off your chest or vocalize in front of your enemy, you can just say it while you're trying to beat the shit out of them. But sometimes, like in Dragon Ball or Naruto or something, they're just sitting there for like 2 episodes at a time talking about, like, you betrayed me. How could you? I was your best friend. You should have joined me. You have so much power over here on the dark side. And then, like, you know, the other guy's like, but the dark side is bad. So I will stay on the light side because that is what I believe. And it's like 2 episodes later, and then finally they're like, fine, you're truly against me, which means I must destroy you. And then they clash. And it's like, why did you take so much time doing that? You could have done both at the same time. You know, like, I mean, they kind of do that in Star Wars. The fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, they were kind of fighting at the same time as they were venting to each other. I mean, they did stop a couple of times to speak words, but they could have also been trying to catch their breath as well. Yeah, but I'm gonna try my best to evade some cliches, tropes, plot armor, just typical things that kind of, for some anime, it's what makes it special, but I'm kind of trying to create a more sensible, realistic, immersive world. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to follow, like, our laws of physics. Like, you know, if some guy survives an explosion that he should have died from, well, maybe he actually shouldn't have died from it. Maybe, you know, like, there's an explanation, basically. No matter how weird or strange the situation might seem, there's gonna be a reason why that is. You know? Especially since I'm thinking that the world that Cosmic is in will run by different rules entirely from ours. Like, it'll be more like a video game, I guess. And not like as in, like, people will have like health points, or like there'll be like menus to sort your items through or whatever. But like the the world is programmed. I mean, I believe this to be kind of the same way that the real world is like, where the universe has a certain code to it. The laws of physics are kind of rules that are programmed into the universe. And we don't exactly know how they work, but we do know that if we have enough of the right information, we can simulate anything. We can use computers to compute things that happen in the real life world and get fairly accurate results, right? Like, we use it all the time for like engineering, where we like simulate how a model can handle like certain air pressures, and then when we make the real thing, we're like, oh yeah, it can handle those air pressures. It was right. And so the universe runs by a sort of programming. We just have no access to it. But in my story's world, the universe will have these rules as well, but they may be more easily manipulated, because beings will have more direct access to it. You know, if someone can fly, it's because in the universe's code, it says that they can. You know, I don't know, for like, it's like subconsciously like they're activating a certain line of code in the universe that allows them to do that. Like every being will have a soul, and their soul is the connection to the universe. And so, like, the more you know about your soul, the more control you'll have over the code of the universe. And most of the time it will be subconscious. Most of the time people will just keep gaining power because they train for it, you know, so they can like get a better affinity for their certain abilities. But what's gonna make Cosmic special is that he's gonna go to a bunch of different places, and one of them might have wizards and mages, and the other one might have, you know, more like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto style martial arts, where they use a certain energy in order to create explosions or illusions or whatever. And you know, he'll start to realize that, hey, wait a minute, the way that the mages uses the energies from crystals, from magic crystals, is kind of the same how these martial artists use their inner energy to do similar things. You know, flying and blowing stuff up, teleporting, summoning creatures. But they're just doing it in different ways. And then he'll find like a sci-fi world that's way beyond his own. Well, like, it's basically to the point to where, like, where people think, like, the physical limits are closer to, you know, the end of our progression or whatever, where, you know, people can put their subconsciousness into computers. They have cyborgs, they have holograms, they can warp to entirely different, like, planes of existence, but they'll still be using energy, whether it be fusion or some other made up one that's even better than fusion. And he'll find out that they're all kind of connected. They all use energy from something in order to do things that are beyond certain limitations. And so in this world, the more energy you can manipulate, the kind of more powerful you are, whether it be through an outside force or outside source like a battery or a crystal, or if it's interior like your soul, or what they'll think is their soul, or like, I don't know, maybe like they generate their own electricity, so they make their own energy that way, or whatever. And so, like, things like gods can also exist in this world, and they're kind of born with an affinity for controlling this energy, and therefore a subconscious affinity for controlling their part of the universe. Hey, wait a minute, why didn't I hear it?
Bruh.
Oh, there it is. I guess the the thing went to sleep. No, it worked. It worked. But it'll take a while to get there. Like, another thing that I kind of have a problem with is how protagonists can just get, like, the villain who has been training 200 years to take over the world is suddenly outdone by a 15-year-old who touched a magic orb once and accidentally got super powerful. Like, that kind of shit. Get out of here. Mr. Robot? I think I've heard of it, but I'm gonna look it up real quick. Mr. Robot. Oh. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I have heard of it. It's a lot older than I thought. Oh, jeez. Yeah. But basically, after like so many decades of investigating these feats of either magic or science, or, you know, maybe witnessing a god's powers, you know, he Cosmic puts it all together, eventually being able to more directly and consciously manipulate the world around him, because he found the answer and can finally manipulate the universe directly. So he'd effectively be able to do anything that he wants, but he'll still need energy to do it. So if he wanted to create an entire planet, well, he'd need to get that from somewhere. Whether it be from power or energy he had stored over the course of his adventures, or energy that he learned to generate himself, or whatever. Eventually, he'd be able to be on par with some of the greatest, like, strongest characters of all time, like Goku and Naruto and Thanos, I guess. You know, these like god level threats can be matched by Cosmic, or Cosmic could even surpass some of them. Like Goku is limited to his fighting ability, and Cosmic will be way more versatile because he'll be able to summon things, or I don't know, add like a curse or something to Goku to like siphon power out of him or something, and eventually he'll be way too OP to actually make an exciting action story out of him. And so I'll either end it at that point, or, you know, maybe I'll try and answer the question, what do you do at that point? Once you reach that status, what do you do? Well, I mean, if you want to see me stream again, obviously the best solution to that is to follow and join my Discord. Thank you, General McChig. And yeah, thank you for coming. I'd love to talk to you more about it, and hopefully I'll see you later. Man, I didn't even get to start talking about how Goku would even be a threat at that point, because if Cosmic manipulates the universe itself, then like he could just, you know, snap Goku away, right? Well, no, because the more powerful you are, the more energy you have, the more resistant you are to others' energy as well. So Goku, having the substantial amount of energy that he has, it would probably be substantial enough to resist, you know, things like being dusted, or being, you know, like directly manipulated through like what, why am I spacing the, like, it starts with a T. It's not telepathy, it's the other one, where you move things with your mind. Telekinesis. Like, I wouldn't just be able to use, or Cosmic, gosh, I mean, I know he's me, but like, he's a story version of me that isn't actually real. But I wouldn't be able to just, you know, play with him like a puppet either, because he'd have a natural resistance. It's kind of my idea of a balancing feature, you know, because like in Dragon Ball, they kind of have this, where, like, Goku's really powerful, so, you know, if Krillin shot a blast at him, he could just stand there and shrug it off, because Krillin's power is substantially lower. But there's also points at which Goku's off guard, and therefore like a tiny little space blaster, you know, could shoot through his entire body for some reason. Kind of annoyed by that. But yeah, like, but that also means that other characters from other series would also have the same advantage slash disadvantage, because in Goku's case it's an advantage that he has a natural resistance because of his power, but people like Thanos, it'll kind of be a hindrance, because if Thanos were in my story's world, he'd actually be weaker than he is in the Marvel world by a substantial amount, because he doesn't actually have a lot of power himself. He uses the stones, and so he himself might be able to be manipulated directly by Cosmic, but not the Gauntlet, which may seem kind of stupid to some, but it's kind of how it works. Because the Gauntlet is separate from him, its power is not his. He can use its power, but it's not his. What would make it his is if he wasn't using a gauntlet, but instead had it directly, like, embedded into him. Is if he, like, ate the stones and they became part of him, type of thing, maybe. And I'm also a little bit worried about spilling all this information about my story, because it leaves it open for anyone to find. And if it's as big of a potential hit as I think it is, I'm always afraid that someone else will jump the gun before me and create a character that goes to different worlds, finds out that there's some sort of secret to the universe, and uses it to his advantage to gain ultimate power. And I don't want my story to be ruined because some other person with a better ability to produce something like like a series. I've never choked on one of these before. I just tried to swallow it and it got stuck in my throat. I'm not dying and I'm not sick. That was weird though. But yeah. And in order to fix this kind of thing, is I need to, you know, actually work out how I'm going to produce this series, because I am not fast at drawing, and my drawing isn't top notch, and I also have no way to do it digitally. My writing is kind of leaves more to be desired, so I still need to work at things. But you know, just like Cosmic, I will keep working at things and until I get them right. And it's just like with this channel. I'm sorry, it's back to the channel, but I just want to say that I will not easily give up on this channel. I've only been around on Twitch for a year, but that does not discourage me. So, back to the story. I've thought about, well, maybe I could try using 3D modeling, because, well, you know, that's kind of one of the easiest ways to produce something. That's probably why Ruby had did it, where you just have models that you can kind of move around like dolls to create, you know, a scene. But I also don't like CGI. Okay, it works for things like kids movies, but with something like my series, I take heavy inspiration from anime, and so I want it to look more anime, and cell shaded 3-dimensional characters don't quite give that look. It's not quite there. And I'm definitely not going to have this series animated anytime soon. The best I can do at the moment is write it in Word form and basically have, you know, a bunch of pages with no pictures, or maybe some pictures actually. I really think that there needs to be some imagery, just to give a better, the reader assistance for what they should be seeing. Cause like, I find that a lot of things are missing when you write it all out. I've read things that are only in written word, and when I see the movies or other art or whatever, I'm kind of like, oh, is that what that looked like? Oh, I had no idea this character, you know, wore jeans or whatever. Like, I like, it's always a problem for me because I do like that heavy visualization, but when I drag out the descriptions for too long, then it just kind of like drags the story out maybe a bit too much, more than it should. Like, I wrote something before, and I was kind of like describing an area, and I was going into like the color of the walls, the position of the bed, where the desk was, what door was for the bathroom and what door was for the hallway, you know, where the TV was placed, when there's definitely a way to get the readers to visualize something with much less description. I could just say, you know, it was a medium-sized bedroom with a desk and a TV, and that's probably enough for most people. But like, I don't know, I really like the heavy descriptions where if you have the imagination, you can definitely see it just from the words alone. Whereas the other description, the much shorter one and simpler one, kind of gives you a general idea of what it might look like. But then later on, when I mention a window, then you're like, oh, I didn't think about a window. There's a window here now. Alright, gotta keep that noted. And so you kind of like discover things about that room as the story goes on. But I feel like that's kind of cheating, because then I could just make up anything that was in that room and just say it was there the whole time, because I only gave like a loose general description before. And so like, if there was like a notch in the carpet that opened up a hatch when you pulled on it, that would be something that, especially me personally, and the main character is going to be Cosmic, I personally, when I walk into rooms, notice small details, like if there was a notch in the carpet, and then I would be like, huh, wonder what that's for, and then I'd go investigate and open it up and be like, oh my gosh, there's a entire hole in there. You know, I mean, I have no idea why a bedroom would have a notch in it. That opens a hatch. Except maybe if I was visiting like a spy's house, or maybe a superhero's house, and they need a quick way to get into a bunker or a lair of some kind. Man cave. But like, I personally, when I enter a room for the first time, I look around and I know every single tiny little thing mentally. And if there's anything of importance and I'm with someone, I mention it. You know, like when I play video games, especially, I'm always looking for those little clues that might get me like achievements or whatever, or might have like a secret stash of ammo that I need to defeat the enemies coming up. I mean, I think playing a lot of open world RPGs like Fallout kind of ingrained that into me. Always looking for loot, trying to get more ammo so that you don't run out of your best weapon's ammo in the next fight, leaving you stuck with your secondary weapon. Or even worse, if you run out of both ammo and you need to either switch out your guns for a much worse one or go to straight melee. Not good. But you know, that's a problem with writing though, with the written word. If I illustrate it, then basically all I have to do is draw the room and voila, full visualization right there. But again, I currently have no way to illustrate it other than paper and pencil, and paper and pencil just doesn't have the detail that I need. You can't add like effects or like when you do when you redo a certain thing too much, then like the lead or the it's not actually lead anymore. It's I know it has to do with I think it starts with an M. Why am I spacing what the lead on a pencil is made of? Graphite. I was thinking it had to do with carbon, but I guess that's graphene, but no, graphite. Yeah. It's not the best tool for illustrating anime images, especially not when I'm planning to use Photoshop, because if a character has like a glow around them, it would be very, maybe cheaty, but definitely easy to just add a glow effect through Photoshop to their character.
You're invited to a new way of listening with
Ads.
Premium lets you connect to your speakers or TV and listen to your music ad-free.
Sorry, I'll let the ad go through. Is there two or just one? There's at least one, but I don't. Does it ever say if there's a second one on Spotify? Okay, there was just one. Back to the lo-fi hip hop. I hope you can hear it. Well, I'll trust General McChig. He said it was on. I'm not sure actually how long I'm gonna stream. It kind of, just chatting streams depend on the amount of people that show up. Especially since it's much easier to talk to a camera when you know someone's on the other side of it. But right now, I kind of just have to hope, and that's fine. I'm not struggling to speak, especially if it's about my story. I'm very, very passionate about my story. Always thinking about it. Have always been thinking about it for months now. That's why, you know, if you didn't know, I took a break for 5 months. Yeah, back in January, I had stopped until like probably almost 2 months ago. That I started again streaming. But I kind of miss the days when I started, because I really don't know if I should talk about this. I mean, I guess if people watching this are in my Discord, they can let me know if they don't like me talking about the channel itself in its state. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, I was looking for places that I could put my story out, so that when I do have a substantial product, that I know where to put it out, because I find that that's a problem for a lot of other people. Is like for people who are like experimenting with certain designs for their chairs. You know, they're like woodworking or something, and they're trying to make it a business, and they might have these really cool chair designs that are comfortable as well, but they don't know where to market them, and so, you know, they have to rely on like showing them to their neighbors or something in order to actually try and get going. And so I've thought about Webtoon, because I've heard about that a lot. There's other sites as well that I still need to investigate. But I know that there's manga sites as well that maybe mine could qualify for if it's illustrated. I also, maybe I should just make an unillustrated version as well. That's just words, and put that somewhere, and then tell people, hey, if you want the full experience, you can also go to Webtoon / these other places to see the illustrated version. Then there's also the fact that I'm currently working alone, and creating a big series like this might take more than I can handle, and funds. I might need more money in order to bring it to the quality that I strive for. And currently the only regular income I have is Twitch, which is about $5 every month. Otherwise, I have some stuff in my bank account, and I haven't spent my money very much. I've only purchased like 2 things in this entire year, probably, through my bank account. And one of them was a game that I might return because I haven't actually been playing it. It's under the 2 hours. I just don't remember if there's a certain... If there's a time limit other than that. If I've owned it for like more than a week, if I can't return it or whatever. It's well, I guess if you're curious, it's Touhou Blooming Chaos 2. I can see how it can be a fun game, but it's not really my thing. I only bought it because the reviews were overwhelmingly positive, and it was $5, I think, on sale too. And I also played Touhou something about Gensukiyoko or something. Oh, Luna Nights, that takes place in that Touhou place. And to be honest, I don't know much about Touhou. The only information I have is through games, basically. Well, I guess I hear about it sometimes in Discords. I know some of their names. Like Flandre, Rimuru. I mean, I guess I know more than that. There's like a Sakeyaka or something. There's a silver-haired girl that controls time. She's the main character in Luna Nights. But I can't remember her name. Why? I could be completely wrong too. But yeah. I need to make a suggestion box in the Discord. The Discord needs a suggestion box. Now that the suggestion box on my Twitch has been disabled. You know, actually, speaking of my Discord as well, I want to make a new Discord logo. Because I haven't really been liking mine recently. And I have some ideas for it. But I'm wondering if I should just go the basic route and just make it a picture of CC. That way it's easily identifiable as like, oh yeah, that's the Cosmic Neko Planet Discord. Man, I really don't know. I guess if I have a suggestion box and people arrive at this part, you can let me know in the Discord whether you like the current one, whether you want to see another option, or if you just want it to be a picture of Cece. Speaking of Cece, in my story, I want to adopt her as a lolly. She'll be a small Neko, but then over the course of the series, she'll grow. Because I think that would be neat. And that doesn't necessarily mean that all the graphics that I currently have need to be switched out for lolly ones, but you know, just letting you know that I thought about that recently, and I think I'm going with it. Okay, well, so seeing how this stream is going, I think that it may or may not be a good idea to end it at an hour and 30, because, well, I care about my viewer average, and I've kind of talked about the main things that I wanted to speak with you for, and I guess I mean, I could wait for someone else to show up, but I don't think that'll happen. Though 1.5 hours seems really short, especially since I've been streaming for like 3 hours lately. I'm gonna check a few things. Just don't mind me here.
When you unlock the power of premium, you're unlocking freedom. Freedom to listen to any song on demand on any device. The freedom to skip songs as many times as you want, even on mobile. The freedom to listen offline. Even listen to all your music ad-free. Experience the power of premium. Tap the banner to learn more.
I was gonna check something, but I'm not sure how. Hold on. There we go. And then I'll just do that. Yeah, I don't know. At least a perk for anyone who's watching this in the future, you can skip the empty space. There's no editing though. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry, I don't edit. I mean, I could just do simple stuff like, you know, doing like simple transitions from times when things aren't so exciting to the next time things are exciting. But I'm not satisfied with that. Okay, I'm not satisfied with that. If I'm going to get my streams edited, it's going to be done well. I do not do anything halfway, unless I have to. Like, you know, I guess my story would be best served in an animated form, but obviously that's a little out of my range, so I will have to settle for halfway. And it's fine. Obviously, sometimes you just gotta invest a little bit before you can get the returns. But I don't feel like it's worth investing in chopping down my streams when, well, I have like 1 subscriber on YouTube. I will get these things fixed. I demand internet success. I see my path and I will snatch it. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Although it really doesn't help when there's times like this. I'm just kind of stuck trying to think about things I could talk about. If there's anyone new here, I would like to chat with you. Although I suppose that's not necessarily what Twitch is made for. If I wanted to chat with people, I would want to do something like Omegle. Are there apps like Omegle that just show you random people to talk to that are family friendly, of course? That there's a very low chance that anyone can ruin my family friendliness, because on Twitch it's family friendly time. Okay, I may do more mature things later on, but right now it's family friendly time. And I mean, I guess I could talk about that, how I do actually plan to do more adult things on stream, not featuring me, not myself, but I do have some ideas I would explain, but I think I'll just let your imagination run free. I'm gonna get another water because this one's pretty much done. And since it's done, I'm gonna go get a new one, right? That'll work. So wait here, and I'll be right back. Hopefully no ads play before I get back. Should be just a short time. I just need to run and get a water bottle. You've probably heard I'm back, because I am. Here I am, again, like I've been the entire stream. But I guess it's past the 1:30 mark. Should I go to 2 hours? Why am I asking you? No one's here. Yeah, yeah, there's not really any point to dragging this on too much further. It's gonna be a relatively short stream, I guess, but thanks to whoever came. Which was one person, but that's better than none person. So that's gonna be it for the stream. I hope that whenever you watch this you enjoyed, whether it was live or in the future. And I hope you also enjoy the rest of your day, night, or anything in between. Everything's relative, so it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that I hope you enjoy the rest of it. So, I mean, I guess all I can do is hope. Hope that you enjoy. But if you don't, you can't blame me, alright? Oh. Guess this is goodbye.